me, sincerity is giving 100% of you, whatever you are trying to do in that moment. So maybe talking to a camera and just staring at this blank hole inside of the camera. It might be working on a project. It might be doing something for someone else. It might be customer service. It could be anything. But I find sincerity extremely beautiful, to me at least. Just the fire, the focus, and the resulting beastly creation that it just creates. I think it's awesome. I think it's really awesome, actually, that that's the product, and you get to see the entire process of what's happening. What I mean is like Time Attacks, Monster Hunter. You get to see 100% of the player do what they think is either styling or just perfectly optimal. They may think that that's their best exhibition of what it is, and just they don't care about what necessarily the monster's going to do, just about what they're going to do to the monster. Fighting, same thing in martial arts and in fighting games. It happens to do with that simultaneous act of two fighters working together to create the best fight while also trying to win at the same time. It's that nice 100% of both players that creates a good fight. Bob Ross's painting, you get to see him just having a fun time. You get to see him making happy little accidents. It's pretty awesome when you think about it. And if you've ever had a deep conversation, like I don't really have too many people to talk to, but when I do have people that I like to have deeper conversations with, I feel that has to do when one person is perfectly listening and being able to speak their mind, and the other person's able to do the same thing. So if you see, there's this big interaction of being able to give everything of what you are while being able to receive whatever else is there. That's, I guess, the better definition, but I still think it's beautiful. Just what it creates, and just watching it in general is awesome. That's probably why I like shonen anime, actually, because you get to see a simple personality climb to the top in most cases. They're just usually this weakling or didn't have it going for them, and then they take the time, they take the processes, they go through everything possible to give 100% of what they are to make themselves get to the top. I think that's really awesome. And they're always giving 100% to get to that goal, to get to whatever they want. And I think that's really all that you really need in life, actually. It's just that goals and the ability to see what you need to do and actually do what you need to do to get to that goal. I mean, why else would we be stopped? We could blame a bunch of things around us and just say that it's that at fault, but in all honesty, I think it's actually just that we don't do it. For example, I've been lying to myself for quite a long time, actually. Before, I think when I was a lot younger, I used to get angry, I used to get depressed, I used to get frustrated. Even when I thought I was doing my best, that was really just my mind telling me that I was doing it, right? If you see people get angry, you get frustrated. Like in League of Legends, that's another toxic community, for example, where people want to try their best, they want to see everybody try their best, but they expect the best out of everybody else. But at the same time, you have to ask, why do they get angry to begin with? Is it because they're frustrated at the other players, or because they're frustrated themselves for not being able to put out their best too? So I think it goes even in interaction basis or single basis. It's just, we like to be able to give our best. Otherwise, why would we become frustrated? Why would we become angry? Why would we be depressed at all? That there's no reason for that to happen to begin with, right? Otherwise, you would just have it. At least that's what I think. So in that instance, I used to think that I was trying hard. That's the thinking of it. But to actually do it is a completely different thing. There's no more judgment. The only thing is in your mind is what you're doing and what you're trying to do and what the scenario is going on right now. So, I mean, if you're that's what I would call like the flow state of what would just be acceptance of what's happening to you and what you're able to output. I think that's really true sincerity. And that is what I think is the best thing you could possibly get from sincerity, is just being able to do what you want to do and not having anything else tell you you can't. Your mind, the situation, people around you, all you care about is just that. I think that's true sincerity. And that brings a lot of good things to the world, I think, right? Because when you actually get to see the full creation of everything, you have your athletes, you have your fighters, you have your artists, you have like those whatever they're called, rappers slash I guess it's still artists, musicians. That's a better term. And I think when it comes down to it, I'm highly robotic, but I know that in general, people seem to give like a percentage of how much they actually try on something. But I think it really comes down to whether or not you try or you don't try, or you do or you don't do, right? It's like somebody saying they're gonna talk about something, but then not actually do it. Like they'll just tell you what they're gonna do and then not do it. For example, I could talk about making a video. I could talk about going to work out. I could talk about going to go learn something and then never do it. Right? I think that's something that's completely different from actually going out and fucking doing it. But that's a lot of things that we tend to do just to rationalize to ourselves so that we can actually be okay with what's going on. And I think that for the longest time I myself was doing this. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of this, but I'm saying in general, once you reach that state of sincerity, you know for sure that that's really what you want to be doing. And I feel that it's like a taste that goes on, not like a good impression taste, but I mean like, so not a good first taste, but sincerity leaves a good aftertaste. And I think that if you're able to get the first impression from something else, or maybe just giving 100% as well through sincerity, you'll also have the good impression taste, which will not come from sincerity, but also the or it could come from, I'm not sure 100%. At least I always get a better high from the end result, which is the aftertaste from sincerity. And like I mentioned, you know, I think there's this huge scale we like to tell ourselves that of how much we're trying, but I don't think that it's a scale. I mean, like I said, I'm highly robotic. It's either for me now, I either see it as I'm giving 0% or 100%. So I guess like on a digital scale, it's either 0 or 1. It's either on or it's off. You flip that switch. I think that's how it should be. And I think that with this challenge, it's actually helping me to see there is that difference. There's that difference of, oh no, today I just feel like doing something light, or oh no, I don't even feel like working out, and then you fail the challenge, right? That's a scale type of thing versus just, okay, this is what I gotta do today, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm making them action to do it right now, right? That's actually making the difference and making it happen. But I feel that it's actually better that we are able to just make it 0 to 100, because otherwise you're going to confuse yourself, and then like, you're going to be like another talker, and then I'm going to go do this but then never do it type of thing. And that's not to say, before when I was saying about the recovery stuff and the light stuff, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that either, especially if you're doing, you know, from right now 75 days straight, I'm not stopping a single day of doing anything. But you know, if you don't take certain days to recover, like just doing a walk, stretch, yoga, and these more so isometric type of things, and lighter type of things, your body is eventually going to blow up, right? That's just how it's going to work. But at the same time, making no action is where I'm talking about the 0%. Taking some action, you could say, is on the scale, but you're actually putting that recovery into the next day so you can go 100% more, right? That's how I see it. Now, of course, if you're actually like just fucking beat, like you can't do anything, of course that's when I would say, you know, you can't even walk and do anything. At that point, yeah, you should be resting, because 100% of you at that moment is just resting. You can't walk at that point. That's an injury, or that's you mean completely exhausted. I totally understand that, but I still think that there's more that we can do, and if you're not maximizing that 100% of going towards that goal or strategically doing it, you're obviously making it up here, and that's what I'm doing. So that's what I really appreciate about sincerity. It's just really awesome as a concept and as something that we are able to do as humans. And it's actually probably why I like challenges to begin with, because again, going back to the 0 to 100 thing, is it's either you complete the challenge, go through the challenge, or you give up and you fail the challenge, right? I mean, it's either or. Obviously, you can look at failure and success as two separate things, but I found that at least in the past week, my new scale has actually been not so much of have I been able to succeed or have I been able to pass, especially with that PR you saw from the deadlift. That was actually the exact same PR that I had starting the challenge, but that was not my PR when I went into the challenge. That was my PR, I think, like 6 months ago when I was doing deadlifts, but I got injured, and that's an excuse, but I'm more so saying that I failed to the point where I didn't hit 300 yesterday. My goal was 300, but I didn't make it. And instead of looking at that failure as something bad, what I should have looked at it as was, well, did I give 100? And obviously, from what you saw from that video, if you watched day 27, I think is what yesterday was, there were like 5 or 6 videos that I put up. I tried 12 times to do 300, and I couldn't do it. So, I mean, there was still something in my mind saying, no, I'm just gonna bullshit this and give up after this. But at the same time, I was saying to myself, no, I think I can try again. I can try again. And at some point, that's when 2 hours passed. I'm like, okay, this is the 12th time. I'm not gonna be able to do it. That was 100%. I have to accept that. So, but that's what I mean is giving 100% in that moment could have been just me saying, okay, no, that's it. I'm gonna do harder next time. I gave it 100. We still failed at this high percentage, and we're gonna get it next time. That's how I should have seen it. But anyways, that's what I really appreciate about Sincerity and what I think is really awesome about it. And I don't think anything bad can come from it, of just being able to give 100%. In fact, I think that is actually what separates, sadly, I don't want to bring education in school up, but if you're going out to get information in general, not passing a class, but if you're going out to get information, you'll either grab the information and get it, or you'll use the information to just pass yourself in the class. And that, I think, is still 0% to me. To me, 100% is getting that information, understanding that information, and using that information in your life and applying it. So I feel like that's why people are complaining about the school system and how it doesn't help them. I feel like that's why people are not seeing the results that they're seeing after they graduate, because they're not applying it. They just wanted to pass the class. Not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, because some people just want to get a degree. If that's your goal, that's your goal. But that's not 100% to me. And I feel that if Sincerity was truly there, where anyone tried to actually do what they were trying to do, they would have it. But anyways, that's the end of this weekend episode for day 28, I think, of 75 Hard. Today, of course, was just a recovery. I ran about 3 or 4 miles. I didn't even keep track. I just ran on the treadmill for like 35-40 minutes-ish at some pace that I just set on the thing. And then I went to walk around the park. But anyways, I'll see you guys for day 29 of 75 Hard. I hope that this helps you in some way understand that it doesn't matter about your results. It matters more about what you're putting out and whether or not you are leaving a good taste in your mouth of how much effort, how much you actually truly went towards your goal. Or it could just be in general, like I said, my perspective of why I like Sincerity and why I think shonen anime and a bunch of other things like that, when you get to watch people be 100% sincere, is so awesome. But I will catch you guys again next time for day 29 of 75 Hard. Here's the progress.